Hey everybody, it is a rainy day here in Nashville today. I'm actually in Hendersonville, which is a little bit north of Nashville. It's raining out, but I also just got out of the gym, so I got to do a little grooming here. I got rained on, and I did my 10 rounds this morning, and I'm trying to roll my windows down here. Turn this off. There we go. It's getting a little steamy. After the gym, I stopped and I got a cup of coffee. Cheers to y'all. And I was planning to make a video for y'all today. I wanted to tell you some things about this sort of fitness journey that I've been on. Nowadays, we're taking fitness journeys, everybody. It's no longer enough just to work out. You have to take a fitness journey. And to some degree, you know, we can make fun of those terms, but to some degree, I don't think it's inappropriate necessarily to use such vaulted terminology to talk about these things, because for some people, you know, going to the gym and working out isn't just a way of staying in shape. Sometimes it's a way of you know, reversing a terrible quality of life, or in my case, of reversing physical condition that, you know, could possibly shorten my life. So I want to talk to you guys about high blood pressure, mixed martial arts, and the things that I've learned through the process I've been in like about the last 18 months, what I've learned and what can be applied to Steemit. So it was about January of 2016, 17, 18. Yeah, that's about right. Okay, right at, you know, the first part of the year, 2016, I went to my doctor. My blood pressure, every time I'd gone to my doctor over the few years that I'd been going to this regular general practitioner, you know, going regularly to this general practitioner, my blood pressure would sometimes be fine, but then sometimes it'd be high, but then sometimes it'd be okay, but then it'd be weird again. So we finally got to the point where for a month, she made me, or asked me to monitor my blood pressure and write it down so we could look at it over the course of a month, with the idea that maybe we could make some sense of these weird readings. It turned out that things were just as weird as they always were, and after a month of doing it, I had many days where my blood pressure was, you know, in the normal range, no big deal. But then there were other days where it was like riding up a little bit, like this is sort of like borderline high blood pressure. And then there were some days when it was spiked, like spike. And so she saw those things and she said, you know, it's, you know, the safe thing to do is just to put you on a little bit of blood pressure medication. So she put me on 15 milligrams of a drug called lisinopril, which is bottom of the barrel, totally normal blood pressure medication. And 15 milligrams is really a tiny dose. It's not much at all. But I still felt like I don't want to be on some kind of long-term medicating every day just to be medicating myself if I don't need to be. You know, if there's something I can do about it, then I want to do something about it. High blood pressure is part of my DNA. It's on both sides of my family. You know, I see a million reasons why that's true in terms of lifestyle and fitness and things like that. But I also see how it plays a role in genetics. You know, there are people in my family who are fit and active and have never been overweight, have always been, you know, positive, like low stress people, like all that stuff. But you know, they're on a lot of medication because their blood pressure is bad, just because it is. That's just the way it is for some of us. So I know that there can be things that can be somewhat intractable about this condition, but I also talked to my doctor and she immediately said, you know, the two things are, you know, getting more cardiovascular exercise and losing weight. And even though if you saw me walking around in 2016 at like a Walmart or something like that, if you saw me in some kind of milieu of the great American pantheon of what people look like in America nowadays, you probably wouldn't pick me out as like the fat guy, right? I wasn't overweight in that sense. But I'm only 5'10". I'm not an incredibly tall person. I've got some broad shoulders, and I probably could carry 205 pounds. If it was 205 pounds of lean muscle that I had built up in a gym somewhere, I could probably walk around at that weight. I could probably pull it off. I could probably be that big of a guy and be very healthy. But I wasn't that guy. I was a guy who had a membership at a rock climbing gym, and I went and climbed all the time, and my legs looked amazing and my arms were ripped. But you're not getting like hardly any cardio exercise when you're doing that. And the reason why I liked rock climbing so much, one of the reasons, there's a million reasons why I love rock climbing, but one of the reasons why is because I hate cardio. So I knew for certain that I wasn't getting enough cardio exercise. And obviously I was overweight, and I was also, at 205 pounds. Again, I don't think that number per se was a number to be alarmed about. But the fact is, I wasn't a healthy, ripped 205, you know what I mean? I was sort of the opposite of that, kind of a soft, hip-handly 205, right? So immediately she told me, lose some weight. If you can lose some weight, lose some weight. If you can get more cardio, get more cardio. And really, I mean, the moment she told me that, I decided I got to quit going to the rock climbing gym, and I need to go back into the martial arts. I've done martial arts on and off throughout my life. My original martial arts instructor was my father, who had studied judo for years, had a small martial arts library on the shelf at our house. And when I was about 9 and 10, my dad would take me and my brother and sister out in the backyard and teach us judo, we spent a whole weekend learning how to fall, so he took it quite seriously and really kind of put us through, this sort of formal hierarchy of learning, learn how to fall down. Okay, now we'll start learning some basic trips. Now we'll start learning some, a few throws here and there. And then after that, I just sort of ran off on my own, Taekwondo. In the 80s, Taekwondo suddenly exploded across America. My brother and I enrolled in Taekwondo classes. I got sidelined for a little while there with music and football. But by the time I was in college, I discovered an amateur boxing club that I used to go work out at. Once I started actually working out at boxing and actually sparring and things like that, I honestly realized how difficult it was, and I knew for certain that between working and going to university and all this stuff, that I wasn't going to be able to have the time to compete in any real way. You learn a lot really quick once you actually try to box. But I still learned a lot. I learned how to wrap my hands. I learned how to hit all the bags. I learned a lot about footwork and jumping rope and, all of the sort of the milieu of the gym. I learned, working out on the different kinds of bags, hitting double end bags, hitting the speed bag. Yeah, I wish we had a speed bag at my gym right now. They keep telling me we're going to get one. And speed bag it's a little bit of an extraneous thing, but it's a fun thing to learn how to do. So I learned a lot of that stuff and really enjoyed that. And after I moved to Nashville for a time, I was studying praying mantis, northern praying mantis kung fu, right? Learning a lot of Chinese boxing, that kind of thing. So it's always kind of been there. And it's always been a thing where I've gotten great workouts doing martial arts because I love doing the martial arts so much, and I love everything about the whole environment of the fight gym environment or the dojo environment or whatever. That when you enjoy something that much, you just want to do it, and all the huffing and the puffing and the sweating and the aching and the pain and all these things that make you want to stay in bed instead of going to the gym. If you find the thing you're kind of passionate about, then that it overrides the things you don't like about it. Okay. So with that in mind, I started going to the UFC gym in Hendersonville. So this is a gym that's licensed. The UFC basically licensed their brand to a company that's opening gyms all over the country. They opened one in Hendersonville, just north of Nashville, as I said. And it's a gym where you can go. There's a number of different classes you can take. There's tons of gear to work out on. You want to do treadmill and lift weights and all that kind of stuff, it's here. But if you want to learn if you want to learn MMA, kickboxing, wrestling, jiu-jitsu, no gi jiu-jitsu, that's where either wearing the traditional gi outfit with the belt, or you're showing up in a t-shirt and shorts and learning how to grapple without the benefit of being able to grab onto the gi and things like that. for those of you who don't know anything about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. They have all that stuff, right? So it's an all-in-one kind of thing, and I've done a little bit of everything. But mostly I go there every day during the week, and or 4 times a week, usually Monday through Thursday usually is when I do it. And I go there and I've got a little app on my phone, and the app gives me 3-minute rounds with 1 minute in between, just like a normal boxing match. This is something I learned how to do at the boxing gym because they had a bell that would work that way. And so just every 3 minutes it would go off, bang, and then a minute would go by, and then you'd start, boom, 3 minutes, and then a minute, and then 3 minutes, and then a minute. Well, now they have apps on your phone that do that too. I use one called Boxing Interval Timer, a very socialist kind of sounding app. But it's great, works great. It always has a little inspirational quote at the beginning when you first turn on, when you open the app and get ready to start your timer. They give you a little quote from a fighter, Bruce Lee or Muhammad Ali or something. It's great, cool app, works flawlessly. So so every morning I go there, I do that. I do 10 rounds. I do about 3 rounds of jump rope. I do a couple of rounds of shadow boxing and other kind of calisthenics and things. And then I usually do 4 or 5 rounds of, actually striking, working on my kicks or my punches or both, hitting the heavy bag, hitting the smaller bags, hitting there an uppercut bag there that you can work out on. It looks like a big ball hanging down, almost like a chandelier kind of thing that swings, and you can, throw punches under it. It hangs up about as high as your head is. So you can't really throw effective uppercuts on a heavy bag because of the fact that it's flat in front of you. You need to hit something like a person's chin, you know what I'm saying? So they have a variety of bags to strike with. They have a number of things. So it's a fun thing. I go to a class once or twice a week sometimes. Sometimes I skip it for a while. I'm not really very good about getting to the class. Although I enjoy the class because that's when we get to spar, and that's always really fun, and I'm learning a lot about sparring and how to be better at it, and the things I suck at when it comes to sparring, and the things I'm kind of good at when it comes to sparring. But basically I do my 10 rounds 4 times a week. And since I started at the gym, so I was diagnosed with the high blood pressure in January of 2016. Around July of 2016, I started at the gym. So this is going on, it'll be 2 years come this late summer. It might have been August, but June, July, August. After I got my diagnosis, I ended up having to do some traveling, and I actually had to have a surgery. It was no big deal, but I had to do it. So I wasn't really able to just like immediately start committing to going to the gym. But I did. And since that time, I have lost 25 pounds. So now I'm down to about 180. I kind of float between like 179 and 181. But I'm trying to get to the point where I'm floating between 69 and 71. I'd rather be about 10 pounds lighter still. But I have lost 25 pounds. My cardio is way, way better than it used to be. I mean, I used to jump rope for 30 seconds and I'd just be dying. Now it's like I do my 3 rounds. By the time I do the 3rd round of jump rope, I'm warmed up and I'm ready to go, and I can just do it and do it and do it and do it. Not to say I'm not breaking a sweat, not to say I'm not, raising my heart rate, but it isn't any kind of torture like it was at the beginning. So I've come a long way. And just the other week, I went to my doctor for a checkup, and for a number of reasons, we talked about things. She's seeing the weight loss. She's hearing about what I'm doing. We're looking at my blood pressure. And she's like, I don't think you really need to be on this medicine anymore. Now, I am going to have to go back in a month and like double check my blood pressure and see how it's going. But I feel like, I feel pretty good about it. And I feel like it's like I've reached that milestone of being taken off the medicine. Maybe I'll get put on a little bit more. Maybe I won't. I'm hoping I don't. I hope I'm done with it. But I could tell that she was surprised when she realized that I had done all this stuff and that I had actually gone to the trouble of losing the weight and improving my cardio and all this stuff. Because it seems like not a lot of people do. A lot of people get put on the med and they're like, okay, well, I'm good now, right? Cool. Let's get a spicy Italian submarine, and the idea is that you just take the meds now, and that's the solution. So I could tell she was surprised that I had actually been proactive enough to improve my lifestyle, so I wasn't walking around, just sort of easing my way into a heart attack down the line. And it really has been a fitness journey of a kind. And I've learned some things along the way that you can apply to Steemit. So I want to sort of flip this into a talk about things that work on Steemit from somebody who's only been on Steemit for about a month and a half now. But I've seen how these same lessons can apply. And it's the 3 C's, people. We're going to talk about the 3 C's on Steemit, or when it comes to fitness. And the first one is you have to have commitment, okay? You have to be committed to your Steemit journey, just like I had to be committed to my fitness journey, okay? Well, how does that work? How do you get to be committed? Well, if you think about it, think about things we commit to in life. You know, you commit to a relationship, let's say. Well, why have you committed to that relationship? Well, probably because you think your partner is attractive, you think your partner is funny, you think your partner is interesting. Hopefully all those things are true for you and your partner in your life, and vice versa. Therefore, you know, you understand that you are in a valuable position with this person, and you're sharing these valuable things with this person, and you're not really willing to risk losing all of that because of infidelity or a lack of commitment or whatever. You've decided to go all in and say, no, this is a really good situation, and I value it, and I want to nurture it and protect it, and I want to bring my best to it, That's called commitment, everybody. This is from somebody who's been married for like a year, so believe me, I understand commitment. What does that have to do with going to the gym, or what does that have to do with Steemit? Well, just like my situation, just like I'm talking about with a relationship, me getting up and going to the gym every day, it hasn't been that difficult because the gym is fun. The classes are great. The equipment is amazing. The techniques are fun. I love punching stuff. I love kicking stuff, and if along the way I'm sweating like a dog and I'm like, coughing my lungs out because I'm like, can't catch my breath or whatever, or because somebody kicked me in the stomach, that's just part of it. And all of the things that I hate about cardio and exercise for its own sake, there's nothing more boring to me than like, let's go exercise. Fuck that, man. Nobody wants to do that. Maybe some people do, but I fucking never want to do that, right? I like the martial arts because it's something I enjoy doing, and therefore the work and the effort and the toil involved in it is just something I just overlook, really. I just do it anyway because I don't care. I love it more than I hate that stuff. So with Steemit, you've got to find a way to become committed to it, right? You have to find, how is Steemit your beautiful, funny partner? How is Steemit your fitness routine that is something you're addicted to doing? You can't wait to get up and go to the gym in the morning. You can't wait to get up and do your first post on Steemit. And the advice I would have for that is to try a lot of things out. Steemit's kind of set up as a blogging platform. That's kind of the first and foremost where that site sort of wants you to go. But the truth is, there's a million different things you can do. I'm part of the open mic community, so every week I'm posting songs, and I'm part of this whole community that's like into music and musicians and writing original music and all sorts of fun things like that. So every week I'm posting videos of me performing original music. I'm posting all my albums on a site that's called D Sound. If you haven't checked that out yet, it's like SoundCloud, but on Steemit. So you can share it with this community. You can earn Steam. You can, find other music that you enjoy and like it and upvote it, and give it some steam. And it's a much better platform for musicians than SoundCloud is, for instance. SoundCloud gives you a link to go buy it, but most people just end up having you download it for free. And the truth is, on Steam, on D-Sound, your stuff can be downloaded for free, but there's also that little upvote thing sitting right there. And I think that within the Steam community, it's much more likely that somebody's going to go ahead and upvote you and give you, a nickel worth of Steam dollars, and then download your song. Oh, I like this song. Upvote, download. You know what I'm saying? And to me, it's a much more realistic way for music to be monetized. So there's that option. There's D Live, which is sort of like YouTube Live, which is actually where I'm recording this right now. There's DTube, which is like YouTube, where you can post videos just like you would on YouTube, but now you're eligible for upvotes and Steam. And again, you know, finding stuff that, you know, there's lots of people on YouTube who have left YouTube for any number of reasons, because of censorship, because of just because of the bullshit of YouTube, and you know, the rules keep changing. You know, they have videos that were monetized that now they're not monetized and all this stuff, and they're just like, forget it, I'll go to the Steam community, the Steemit community, and I'll put my videos up there. So my advice would be to explore Steemit. You know, do you like to take photographs? You know, let your photography passion become the thing that you do on Steemit. You know, if you want to blog. If you're a photographer, post your photos. You know, look up photo feed, hashtag photo feed, and the account at photo feed, and learn about you know, these people who are really making an effort to curate good photography on Steemit. There's a niche for you somewhere in there where you can be passionate about what you're doing on Steemit, and therefore be very easily committed to what you're doing on Steemit. You won't be, you know, grudgingly logging into your Steemit account. Oh, I'm trying to earn some crypto. You know, it won't be like that. You'll be taking a photo and be like, damn, I can't wait to share this with my friends on Steemit and with my followers on Steemit. So get committed, and do that by finding your passion and sharing it with the Steemit community. The second C I want to say is community. Okay, that's another thing that Steemit is very good for. The fact that we have this this capacity for upvoting one another and flagging one another. Generally speaking, I don't see almost any complaining on Steemit. I don't see almost any insulting on Steemit. There's very few trolls anywhere to be found on Steemit in my experience so far. And that's one of the things I like best about the site. You know, I had to go to Facebook earlier today. Just somebody messaged me or something, and so I just really quickly was running around on Facebook, which is a site that I almost spend no time on anymore. And I was reminded why I don't spend any time on it, because it was every single post was just people whining and complaining and fighting, and it was just so shitty and so toxic. And I just don't want to have anything to do with Facebook, really. I don't even post my blogs to Facebook anymore. I've been blogging, you know, since 2004, and in blog years, that's like fucking ancient. I'm like the Gandalf the Grey of blogging. Gandalf the White, even, for those of you who understand these Lord of the Rings references. I've died and I've risen more than once in the course of my blogging history. But nowadays it's like I like to post my blogs to my website, you know, which is at joenolan.com/blog. And then I like to post them here, you know. I like to share them with you guys more than I want to share them with Facebook, you know. And then I'll usually share the Steemit version over on Twitter with the idea that I'm hoping people will see it, go over to that site, and then say, what the hell is Steemit? And then boom, we'll get those people in, right? So so back to the community idea. So Facebook is toxic, but Steemit is a good place to be, and I've really had great interactions with lots of people. And when it comes to growing your Steemit site, your Steemit profile, you know, your presence on the platform and within the blockchain, I think community is a huge part of it. I've come across a number of posts that have taught me a number of rules that I think are really good. Number one, if keep track of your replies, right? If you post something and people comment about it, like it, steam them a little bit. No matter, I mean, honestly, no matter what somebody says, I almost always upvote a comment or a reply. Because I'm glad to have a reply. I'm trying to create a conversation, and I can't do that by myself. So if somebody engages with something I've posted, a photo or a video or a blog post I've written, well, guess what? Thank you for that. Here's a little steam. And here's my reply. I reply to them because we're supposed to be creating a conversation. That's the whole point. That's what we're doing, right? So you know, upvote your replies and reply to your replies. Create those conversations when they start to happen. Whether it's something you authored or something you curated, you know, or re-steamed or whatever, engage with people. That's important, and I think it's one of the best ways that you get followers. And another thing to do is to have some fun with hashtags. search around, things you're interested in, search around, try out different hashtags and stuff, and figure out, like, where are people. For instance, in the mixed martial arts community on Steemit, there's a whole group of people that uses, what is it? Steemit BJJ, I believe, is the hashtag. Steemit BJJ, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So a lot of the jiu-jitsu community on Steemit is using that hashtag. So when they post something about, oh, I had a tournament this weekend and here's some photos, or, oh, I read this great article about how to do a better Kimura and break somebody's arm, or whatever they're doing, they'll use hashtag Steemit BJJ, and that'll be their way to make sure that their community sees it, and that then they'll reply, and then they'll like it, and they'll upvote it, and they'll reply, and now they have this whole conversation going because they're connected through the hashtag that everybody commonly searches for and stays updated on, and re-steams and things like that. So search around, find the things that you're interested in. Again, if you're interested in photography, check out hashtag photo feed. That's my favorite, one of my favorite photography hashtags. Takes you to some of the best content you're going to find on Steemit regarding, photographic images. So search your stuff, find some hashtags, and even make up a hashtag. I created a hashtag called hashtag Steam Dragons. Which some people are using, and I'm glad. I use it every time I post anything about mixed martial arts. And the idea is that anybody who's doing anything, you're wrestling, you're boxing, you're kickboxing, you're a karate guy, you're a taekwondo girl, you're a judoka, you're a BJJ practitioner, whatever it is you're doing within the realm of the martial arts, use hashtag Steam Dragons so we can find you. Because when I first got to Steemit, outside of the BJJ community, the grander martial arts community doesn't seem to be centralized and organized in terms of people who are practicing martial arts. There's a lot of stuff about, like, watching MMA fights, or the UFC's like new card that's coming up this weekend. But I decided there was a need for another hashtag for martial artists in general to find one another. So we started using hashtag Steam Dragons. A little throwback to a guy named Bruce Lee. You may have heard of him. So find different ways to connect with community. Keep track of those replies, upvote those replies, and also, use hashtags and create hashtags and promote hashtags that you like, your own or other people's, to find the people you're looking for, and so they can find you, and so that you guys can share your content with one another. That's one of the best ways that you're going to get your content noticed, is by not only just getting more followers, but by getting the right followers, getting followed by people who are interested in the same things you are, and following people who are, putting up the same kind of content that you want to see. So that's one thing. So you've got commitment and you've got community. Well, what's the other thing? Another thing that I think is really important about what I've learned in the gym on my fitness journey, and what I've seen on Steemit, is the idea of consistency, and no matter how excited some people are, like when we see blogging in general, the culture of blogging, again, I've been doing it for 14 years, and blogging hasn't been around a whole lot longer than that. So in the time that blogging has been a thing, it's kind of come and gone. It's sort of appeared on the horizon, and suddenly everybody's like, well, I want to blog. I'm going to blog. Let me be a blogger. And then it sort of died away, and then it sort of came back, and then it sort of died away. And now a site like Steemit is kind of reinventing how blogging might work in the future. So like a lot of things, it's done that. Podcasting has been the same way. Podcasting's had about 3 generations so far, where it's sort of, kind of faded off and then reinvented itself and come back. And every time it does that, suddenly you're surrounded by people who are podcasters now. I'm a podcaster. I'm podcasting. And I don't mean to be totally sarcastic, but the fact is 90% of the people who tell me they're podcasters, they're not podcasters for very long, So, we'll wait for a year, and we'll wait till you do 50 podcasts at least. And then we'll start taking you seriously when you tell me you're a podcaster. The same thing with blogging. I know so many people who are bloggers, and then you go check out their blog, and they haven't posted anything in 2 months, and before that, they were pretty scant in terms of week-to-week content, and that's boring, man. You know what I mean? Don't claim the space unless you're going to hold the space. It looks weak. It looks lame when you sort of put yourself out there as something, and then you just show yourself as a person who doesn't have the follow through. So I think if you can get committed about Steemit, find your passion, find the thing you enjoy doing the best on Steemit, and if you can also find a community on Steemit, a community that's supportive of what you're doing and interested in what you're doing, and that keeps you coming back to see their content and to be interested in their things, then I think the third part falls into place a lot better. It's a lot easier to do it consistently when you have those other things in place. And it's important to sort of pace yourself. Pace is a big part of consistency. Again, like a fledgling blogger or a fledgling podcaster, they might fill up that blog for 3 weeks, and then all of a sudden on the 4th week, I only did 2 posts this week. And then the next week, well, that was okay. I guess I'll just do 2 posts again. And the whole thing, the wheels start to come off. You know what I mean? Same thing with the podcasters. Or lots of people who claim that they're going to do lots of stuff. Lots of people claim things that they never actually follow through on. And I think that the key often is for consistency is pacing yourself. So, you've got a job, you've got a partner, you've got a kid, you've got other hobbies that you're interested in, you've got family commitments, you've got a busy social life that's important to you, whatever it might be. We all have things going on in our lives, and nobody should be spending all their time staring at a screen working on Steemit, that's for sure, or on anything else, frankly. Let's live our lives in the meantime. So to be consistent, I think a lot of times you've got to find the right pace. So what can you do? For me, I'm interested in posting my music, posting my photographs, posting my blogging. There's the fact that this is a multimedia sort of environment. That's great for me because I'm involved in lots of different media. I'm a professional musician living in Nashville. I'm a professional art and film critic. You know what I mean? So I do these things all the time, for money. So this is stuff that I've been very passionate about and that I've built a career out of. So I'm not at all, lacking in enthusiasm for any of these things. So for me, I don't think it's too much to post a blog, to post a photo, to post a workout video, maybe all 3 of those in one day. Maybe I'll learn that that's too much. Maybe I'll learn that that's a little bit crazy to just be popping so much stuff up there. And I don't do that all the time, but it's not that hard for me to do that. That's not a pace that's challenging me. So one post a day, that's easy. Easy as pie. 2 or 3 posts a day, sometimes, but I'm not going to be totally committed to that. My goals right now are to be posting every day, basically Monday through Friday, essentially. I don't hold myself accountable to Steemit or anything else on the weekends. Again, I do a lot of this stuff for my living, so I set it up so that I've got the weekend off, because when you work for yourself, you've got to set that up for yourself, or you just end up working all the time. So, so that consistency is important. So find out what you can do consistently. If you just blow it all out right now, and then you're going to be bored or dejected next week, when it comes time to put something on Steemit on Monday, then that's too much for you. Do a little bit less. It's better to do less consistently than to do more inconsistently. Because honestly, when I'm following people on social media and suddenly they just fall off the radar, a lot of times I unfollow them. I'm not interested in following a whole bunch of people who aren't posting content that I'm interested in. So if you're not actually active on the platform, I don't want to follow you. I want to follow people who are active on the platform and passionate about what they're doing, and they're sharing valuable insights about their lives and the things they're doing with me, just as I'm attempting to do with them. So find a pace that's consistent. that you can do all the time. And little by little, you're going to build up those followers. You're going to grow that community around yourself. You're going to learn more of these kinds of lessons I'm telling you. There's many, many more. Believe me, I don't know hardly anything about Steemit yet, really. But I have learned a lot. And I've learned how some of these lessons apply from one part of my life to this part. So to sum it up, whether you need to lose 25 pounds and get your high blood pressure under control, or you want to start accumulating mass quantities of Steam dollars on Steemit, my advice, as somebody who's done a little bit of both, would be those 3 C's. First of all, commitment. Find something you're passionate about that makes it easy to be committed to. Second one is community. Find a place within the Steemit community where you can share your interests with other people who also share those interests. Don't forget to upvote those replies. Don't forget to re-steam those posts that you like by the people you follow. Don't forget to reply to those replies. You're trying to create a conversation, and every time somebody engages in that conversation, you should make it clear to them that they're valuable to you, because they are valuable to you. They're ultimately going to be the people who bring even more attention to your posts. When I see a post that's got 6 comments on it, I'm way more interested than a post that doesn't have any comments on it, and I'll read the comments, and they're almost always polite, nice comments. It's not like being on Facebook where, your crazy uncle thinks he can say anything he wants. So you got commitment, community, and then also be consistent. Take the time to post to Steemit, in a way that people can sort of count on. Oh, there she is again. Oh, there he is again. Okay, cool. Oh yeah, he had that tournament this weekend. Yeah, he wrote a little blog about that last week, and now he's posted 3 or 4 photos of wearing that medal. Oh, cool. And you see, over time you create a story, and if all of a sudden your favorite TV show disappears for 5 weeks, are you going to know even when to tune in again? You gotta stay consistent and create your story over time so your followers can follow it. You see, if you suddenly drop off the face of Steemit, your followers don't know where you are. They don't know what's going on. They're not sure what your deal is. They're going to forget about you, frankly. And you don't want that. So be consistent. So commit, find a community, be consistent. I don't know what I'm doing with my fingers here. It's weird when you're looking at them in the mirror here. And if you do those 3 things, I think you can get your fitness under control. If that's something that's needs to be done in your life, which I highly recommend. Take care of yourselves, or I think you'll have a better, more successful time here on Steemit if you follow those same rules. So anyway, I hope that wasn't too long-winded, and I appreciate you guys letting me share this with you. Yeah, so comment. If you're into martial arts, let me know about what you guys have done and how it's affected your life. I could go on and on about the benefits of doing the martial arts, especially for high blood pressure. I think the stress relieving aspect of martial arts is just as important as the exercise. So we can talk about that too. So go ahead and reply. If there's something else that you found that you're passionate about on Steemit that's increased your commitment to Steemit, please reply and tell me about that. Tell me about how you've grown your community on Steemit. If there's angles and ideas that I haven't mentioned here, I'd love to know more about how to grow my own community on Steemit. And also, be consistent. Be consistent about being a good member of this community and bringing value to this community by creating good content. Content could be another C. That sort of falls underneath the first parameter of commitment, though. I think if you find things you're passionate about, you'll work at them. You'll be good at them, and when you share them, you'll be finding good results and good feedback from the community. So anyway, I'll look forward to some replies, y'all, and I will upvote your replies, so you can't go wrong. So let me know what you think, and I'll be in touch soon. Have a good day. I hope it's sunny where y'all are. I'm getting a text. I don't know what's going on here. Oh, I've got a podcast tonight. So if you guys aren't aware of this, especially if you're in the MMA community, I do a podcast called Art Fight Podcast. We look into the fight to make great art, and we also explore the creativity that we see within the martial arts and combat sports. So some of our guests have been artists who are also fighters in one way or another. We've also interviewed people who are just artists. We've also interviewed people who are just fighters. Tonight we'll be interviewing a guy who actually goes to my gym. He just recently won the Jonathan Ivey Cage Fighting Championships welterweight title. So the champion, Donovan Salvato, will be on my podcast tonight, Art Fight Podcast. So check that out. We've got about 8 episodes that we've done so far, and we're filling up our calendar and really getting rolling with this thing. And I'm going to try to post those to Steemit more, to like desound as I can. But we sort of switched some things about it, so the whole thing was in transition, and all the videos were taken down off of YouTube. So I've got to kind of start over on that, but I'll get that stuff up here too. But you can find it online, Art Fight Podcast, where however you find podcasts, you'll find it there. And like I said, we've got several really good interviews that we've done, and tonight we'll be talking to the champ, Donovan Salvato. So anyway, hope you guys are doing great. I've been going on here for almost 40 minutes, so I'm going to go ahead and call it a day. I'll look forward to your replies, and I'll be upvoting them, and I'll be replying to you. Take it easy, y'all. Hope it's sunny where you're at.